unless it's an item or something. We're underway, by the way. But also 5-6 crystals are high value, and the last 4 chests of the game are going to be low value here, starting things off with a heart piece.
We won't have that question early on what is sitting on the ped, just because we do know. Getting a map check there, we also see we have a red crystal actually up in Tower of Hera.
Okay, that's really nice to see Tower of Hera having our 5-6. So that way with the 5, because it'll eliminate one of our 5-6s, and we know that one of them is going to be in the Dark World. So if it's in a good position, we might see our second sword or whatever really early in the game.
It all just depends on that second 5-6 crystal location, and if they can grab that soon enough to make Pyramid Fairy Sword really viable.
Yeah, 10 arrows in the secret chest below the Uncle spot, and this will be pretty much standard. Not really much to write home about. It's like this initial this initial escape here. So premises here, as I mentioned before, pedestal is pretty much full on dead. You do not have to go check the pedestal, especially now that the 5-6 the pendants are going to be in a really unnatural position, like really bad spots. But they're probably never going to check the pedestal anyway, in case they really, unless you're really desperate and want to get your 4th sword right out of the gate, or at least cap 4 swords. And then 5-6s, again, as I mentioned, are high value, and the last 4 chests in the game are going to be low value. The only thing that can really potentially be on there is silver arrows and either a heart container, which can be the same heart, or if they're wise enough and they find that there's a heart piece and they have 3 remaining, that 3 heart pieces already, they can just get that full heart refill as they pull out their 4th heart piece. 20 rupees in the boomerang chest. As a question, as to answer somebody in chat as well, to at least synchronize with that, tablets. When we get the book, tablets are going to be the only thing that these runners are going to really care about, because since these runners already know that the pedestal is dead, with the fact that there's a sword on there, it makes no sense for you to not. It makes sense for you to just leave the pedestal behind and just check those bombos and ether tablets.
Ooh, Green Guard not playing nice down there with Koi. He has to turn back around and grab a few more hearts. It left him with half a heart there, which can get a little hairy going through the rest of the escape.
Because considering that you could just go back up through, you could just go back, like continue your route, and then keep going and just until you get those 3 hearts, and when you come in on your way back from the basements of escape.
So you see Blaine showing us where one of those are at right there.
Yeah, they're always going to be 2 hearts there if you're not familiar with the pots in Link to the Past. Blaine is heading all the way over to the sewer. Is going to get that hard-coded lamp from Zelda.
It's actually a little bit of an interesting piece of coding there in the game. Since the game gives you the lamp very early on, it just assumes that you have it right there. So that's the only place that you'll see that cone actually show up when you don't have the lamp. We got a book there in Dark Cross.
Okay, that's really nice to have the book. We're gonna need we're gonna need a whole lot of materials though. So at this point, since we got the book that early, that means I first need the Titan's mitts in order to get your master sword. At least check the remaining chests of please check. I mean, get your master sword and then check the tablets. Going to the bag of escape. Gonna check those 3 chests. We're gonna receive 20 rupees, a heart piece, and our map. So we know there's an item there is gonna be an item here in the sanctuary. If there wasn't a map there specifically, then the sanctuary will have that map chest, and the runners will not check that if that was in that specific case, unless they didn't get bombs and we'll have to check it anyway.
Which, fortunately for the runners, it does look like bombs are in the rat prize pack today.
I mean, it's lucky mostly, but Blaine comes out with a impressive 6 hours. That's an optimal time if you want to get through the escape. Really impressive work.
Another quick map check from Brilliant Scene. We have a crystal over in Eastern, and I believe that was also one in Desert Palace that I saw. That.
Yes, that was correct. All there's crystals in the light world, with the only one that's only 5/6 is going to be in the Tower Hera. To put things into scope, though, in addition to the four you see on screen, we have 16 others in the background for a grand total of 20 racers entirety. And there's our first bow in the mushroom spot.
Always nice when you get that bow fairly early like that. Can leave a little bit of a sigh of relief. Makes it more often the check that you might get those silvers, and there are the gloves in the Thief's Hideout.
Last one's paying off huge, and there's a flute. That is, well, we'll see. It's not necessarily AGA 1 required just yet. It really depends on if Misery Mire is a crystal or not. I'm picking up that early bow. So Blaine gonna head over to Kakariko. Let's see if the pace from the Lost Woods will continue just snowballing into more good items.
So far the bottom empty until we find the Moon Pearl.
Okay. So we're only at least one more item away from Dark World access. This doesn't necessarily, I mean, AGA will still potentially be. Oh, there's our Titans.
There it is.
Dark World access. Less than 10 minutes in, we have Dark World access. So remember what I said about having our Titans mints? Well, yeah, we're gonna definitely just need that for later on, I guess. There's our mushroom too. We have one of our first fetch quests.
It all just depends what Misery Mire is sitting as there.
And I'm imagining Blaine could just go into the light world, or the dark world, and check the outcasts after he does Kakariko. But he might just hold off until we have everything all checked here. We've got blue mail on the bottle vendor as well as the single arrow and the well. Very nice to see the single arrow this early in the seed.
Yep, it's one of those odd, unique items out of the way early for you. 300 rupees in the back of the chicken coop.
Go ahead and check the back of the tavern, which is one of the only few rooms in the entire game in Cross Keys that is not randomized. Lucky Potion, that is one of our vanilla potions, or one of our vanilla bottle locations.
And good timing too, lets you go up to Sick Kid, but only 20 rupees today.
And yeah, Blaine's gonna head directly for the village of outcasts pretty early in the scene. I mean, it makes sense. You have your Dark World access right now. Might as well check if Mystery Mire is needed. It is
And
a
it
crystal. Agra required.
That is a 5 crystal with the green pendant over on Eastern Palace, and the other ones on Skullwoods and Thieves Town.
Yep, this does also mean that this Agra required.
Yeah, it does. Now, I know Koi went up there and checked the ledge. It was Boyne the other one?
I think he did too. Chloe gonna check the race game. I don't think anything was in the library. There's only a hard container on the race game, and Boyne immediately heading for Thieves Town. I don't know what to make of this. I get it. It's a little bit early, but I feel like it's way too early. I mean, I think the best thing you might really want to do is check the first 4 chests and get out.
Yeah, I almost bet it's going to be the first 4. You're seeing a lot more runners sitting there and throwing the first 4 at Thieves Town, and it's part of their overworld checks. Just kind of get those out of the way.
Yeah, and especially now that we have like 2 dungeon items, we're definitely probably gonna see Boyne potentially leave Thieves Town because he's potentially gonna hit himself for the Death Warp. Chloe heading for the eastern area, checking Sahasrara.
Meanwhile, Ryland's going up to Skullwoods, and it was just a big 20 on the library ledge.
Nothing in the attic of Sahasrara. Boyne picking up a bug net, and that will be his 4 chests. We have a lot of items in the back of Thieves Town.
I see Koi with save quit. Wonder if he's going to go south or is he going to go over to eastern? We're going south. Meanwhile, Chloe went over to the Eastern Palace area.
Boyne picked up red mail in the C-shaped house, and there's our silver arrows. Over in Skull Woods from Rowan Tankir.
Definitely a good sight there. Makes it more than likely what you're going to see now is a Master Sword Silver fight. Probably won't be seeing any Smith chains today.
Well, considering that we have vanilla swords, it's likely that we're going to be heading to that Smith chain is going to be very valuable here. Boyne not going to pick up the blacksmiths just yet, but instead going to check the dig game before committing to the blacksmith chain. The flooded treasure howling having a red boomerang, and there's another 300 rupees for the dig game. I'm gonna check the pinball room. One of the new things that has been, it's pretty much now you do not need to get a guaranteed key anymore, and that's going to be our big key.
Just gives us the opportunity for one more check here in Skullwoods.
And coin for Mini Moldorm gave, we're going to be seeing 50 rupees, our mirror, 3 bombs, 20 rupees, and a piece of heart. So that mirror is very nice for Koi. It might be so he will have mirror checks in the form of K45, and I guess maybe Graveyard Ledge.
And give him a little faster access there too if he wants to do the blacksmith turn in.
Chloe actually immediately heading for the back of Eastern Palace. He picked up a lamp, but presumably in the Eastern Palace. Boy heading for Cave 73, as I like to call it. We get starting things off half magic. 10 arrows. 10 arrows. 50 rupees. And Quake. So,
I think the jury's out on that one.
it's a split decision, really.
It all depends what we need for Mire and Turtle Rock access. Half magic, though, is quite a nice pick.
Yep, Chloe heading to the back and then going to Armos. Did not get up the quick kill. He was in position for that. Did not get it, but this won't falter him. Got plenty of arrows to do it. And down goes the Armos Knights, gets a hard piece, and Strawn first blood, picking up the first crystal of the race.
Meanwhile, Blaine still continuing his world tour with the Smith. Seeing South Shore on his side here.
Koi, seeing that there's a 5/6 crystal on on Mr. Meyer, pretty much saying to him that, oh, this is an Agaseed, so you better watch out. Blaine picking up that red boomerang. So far, everything's pretty much the same. Koi heading for Thieves Town. Of course, gonna grab that bug net. Then eventually leaving. I mean, he will have the mirror, so you will not have to death warp. Go and pick up his mirror from Mini Moldorm Cave.
Well, we got everybody basically retracing each other's steps. It'd be a good time to remember to give each one of these runners a follow over there on their Twitch pages as well. They're putting on the show here tonight for your entertainment. They always appreciate seeing you drop in there when they aren't on the restream.
Yep, let's give our trackers a follow. They don't give enough love. They don't get too much love. We have Ricky of Kokiri and Lumaga on the tracking side today. And of course, I am Professor Renderer, and my co-commentator is Spyweaver.
Those two in the back checking first are the ones making our job look easy, keeping us straight, making sure we remember where everything is at.
Yep. And Ice Road Cave only having ourselves a heart piece. So Koi, at this point, yeah, he's gotten his red mail from the C-shaped house. We have a whole lot of items left unchecked.
Could be one here where after Koi finishes his Village of Outcasts checks, he goes right back and takes Jeremiah back to his home with the mirror and get that second sword.
Great flipper, that's great flipper with the blacksmith just swimming alongside him, or at least shredding water, I guess.
Blacksmith's got to be wondering at this point, where exactly are we going? I don't live over here.
I have no clue. That's a great visual. That's an interesting visual. All right, Blaine checking the hobo, getting ourselves a heart container.
Gonna be fake flipping his way back up, probably towards Zora. Can't quite pay Zora yet. Oh, actually, that is an 8. He can. Never mind.
Yes, he can, and he's also gonna check the waterfall fairy because he has that moon pearl. He will be able to water walk that way, store that water walk, and then run his way over to Zora, check Zora Ledge, and so on and so on. But first, he's gonna check Highlight Island. Only 10 arrows. And Koi is going to be the first runner to get Master Sword.
Now, will we see Koi take the purple chest here on his pseudo world tour?
So there's your Master Sword.
Bottle number 2 and a red rupee in the Waterfall Fairy.
Right. And Koi is taking that purple chest, so off to Zora we go. We have 20 rupees on Zora Ledge. Brown also going to be grabbing his sword, his Master Sword from the blacksmiths. Now, as I'm looking at the pendant layouts, Now, Pod, Skullwoods, and Thieves Town. They're not bad. They're not necessarily bad locations. Not at all. And our third bottle is on Zora. Quite an expensive bottle. But Boyd's gonna just leave it behind.
Very expensive bottle just to kind of leave sitting in the water there.
Also, there was nothing really to note about Cave 45. There was anything special about it. So, Chloe has that mirror. It's going to check Graveyard Ledge. And now, since Koi does have his Master Sword, he will be checking the Bombos tablet. 5 rupees on the purple chest, and only 10 arrows in the Graveyard Ledge.
So it's looking like routing in South Shore before even stepping foot into the Dark World is actually paying good dividends here for Koi, especially with that book there.
Yep. Koi now heading over to the Bombos tablet, going to be checking that. This will be the first player to do this Bombos check. And only 20 rupees.
Just unfortunately not paying as many dividends as he would have liked.
To keep to note as well, since Pod, Skullwoods, and Thieves Town are medallions, maybe it's the pedestal is accessible. Well, at least when we have the items for it. We only need a fire rod and hammer to at least finish the dungeon, to finish those medallion dungeons and get that sword. It's very, very accessible.
Down on the bottom right, you'll see Rowland handing in the mushroom. We're going to get our first check to see what we have in the witch's hut.
And it's only recording 20 rupees, and Rowland's going to just hard reset, so that way he's going to be doing the fake powder.
Or at least set himself up for it if we don't find that powder later on.
Oh, now Blaine is heading for the eastern area. He's going to go to Eastern Palace, finish off the Armos Knights, because it is a dungeon clear, and plus you do have it accessible in the form that the lamp is in Eastern Palace. Rowland's also heading there too.
Yeah, most of these runners fairly decent, wouldn't need the lamp, but it's almost a little too convenient just having it sitting right there in the front.
Yeah, it brings those dark rooms into logic, as well as, oddly enough, you also have Death Mountain as in part of our logic. Now, we don't necessarily have a whole lot in Death Mountain that would warrant a trip up there just yet. We would need ourselves a hammer in order to go to East Hammer, or a hookshot in order to go to East Death Mountain, and even Dark Death Mountain, considering now that we have the Titans very early to seed.
You see up here in the top left, Chloe is actually dipping deeper into Thieves Town.
This is risky. We do not know where the hammer is, but Chloe is willing to do it anyway, risking the potential of that there might be an item in the big chest of Thieves Town.
However, at the same time, it could always just be the ever-present small key locking itself inside that big chest.
Like in the attic, we have ourselves Ether.
So that's 2 item checks down.
There's that lamp over in the map chest, actually. There's the compass chest. I forget, but I know it's a dungeon item there.
It's one of the 2. I believe compass chest is the one that's on the right-hand side. If I recall correctly. Been a while since I played vanilla.
Same.
Meanwhile, Koi has dipped up into Skull Woods. He's our second runner to grab silvers up there. He'll have a very easy time in Misery Mire when he makes his way over there.
Very much so. Blaine continuing his trek through Eastern Palace, and Chloe on their way to rescue the maiden.
So our answer right here, it is a map. We have an item on the hammer chest. Not chest, I should say.
I think Chloe left the key there, because I'm thinking, because we know that the logic does not put a key on blind. We know that. So
There must have been one up front then that I missed.
okay, that was the one. Yeah, there is an item in the chest. So this is risky because, again, this is really risky because Chloe went very deep in order to find out that there's an item in the chest. There's an item in the big chest. Now, whether or not this is progression has yet to be seen. But Chloe having an excellent blind script. And only rewarded with 3 bombs, and now will be his first pendant.
So depending on where that hammer is sitting, we could have something either good or just junk sitting in that big chest today.
Yeah, this is very risky for Chloe to do that, as I mentioned plenty of times. Because let's say that there's, like, I don't know, Cansamaria on the big chest of Thieves Town.
Now that would just be dirty.
Yeah, that would be rough for Chloe because he would have to dip Thieves Town again. Where most of the runners have already just dipped it once, considering that because of Biljack as being already accessible right from the gate.
So early on, unfortunately, that deep dip into Thieves Town not quite paying off.
Koi is setting up for a Kern bomb jump. Actually, so because one of our fellow racers, Kern, had developed this strat so that if you explode yourself with a bomb, in order to bomb jump and cause a fake flipper to occur, you're able to cross that bridge, at least get into the water, cross that river, and get yourself the opportunity to check the mushroom spot if you have it.
And that's a bit of a unique setup we actually saw there, wrapping yourself around the tree and walking over so you get the bomb time rate too. It's gotta be the first time I've seen that one.
Interesting little strategy too. Marilyn finished enough the Armos Knights, and Blaine finding out that there is that fluid on Lumberjack, meaning that Aga 1 is required. Blaine actually heading up directly to Death Mountain. Now, okay, I'll roll with it again, but again, we're only able to check Spectacle Rock and the Old Man Cave, and the Old Man. Also Hera, and also Ether Tablet.
Does have the mirror, can get there to Hera, see what we have. He has a lamp just in case it's fire locked. Anything you can do to put off having to go to Aga for as long as possible, even though we do know it is required.
Koi checking the catfish. There's our hook shot.
Ooh, that's a pretty big find right there.
So that opens up East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain. And 10 bombs on top of Spectacle Rock. And going to check the inside of Spectacle Rock. Only 50 rupees.
We'll be seeing our second tablet here of the day.
This will be that Ether Tablet before he heads into Tower Hera. And Ether Tablet's going to receive a heart piece. So tablets have pretty much nothing. That book is useless. And Blaine is turning for Terra.
Of course, on the way, still giving us a few of the air bonks using that or attempting to use the book as he's walking.
Yep. And Boyne finding that big key, so we don't have to worry about checking the item in the base, going to the big key chest just yet. There's 20 rupees. That's our first item. There's only 2 items here. We're only halfway there. We checked the pyramid ledge, and there was nothing of use. So he's heading for a bod. Actually, this is interesting. I'm in on it. Green pendant. Although he does not have a hammer, so he can't kill off Helmasaur just yet, and check Sahasrara at the same time. But who's to say that there's a hammer in pod?
For all we know, that hammer could be hiding off in its vanilla location.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, we already have like 4. We only know 4 vanilla locations because there's our swords. We already have 1 vanilla location, and that was the bottle in the back of the tavern. I don't know. Blaine finding not a whole lot just yet, and he's gonna fight off Boldor.
Picking up his second crystal. Desert Ledge just having 20 rupees today.
Round is doing Aga 1 fairly early.
Well, you're gonna need to do it, but it's interesting maybe putting it in at this point when you don't have the boots yet. Can't quite access that flute, even if you do knock him up. But then again, too, as far as Rowland knows, that's the only way to access the Eastern Dark World.
Yep, and Moldor and Halloween are second item, those 3 bombs. That's first of our 5-6 crystals. That's Hera completed. Koi heading for Eastern Palace now, and Boing pretty much leaving Death Mountain because that's nothing else to do just yet. We'll be pretty pleasantly surprised to see that hook shot on the catfish.
If you really want to think about it, that hook shot, once you go through Eastern Palace, is actually within logic since we do have all the other pieces to get up to A.
Also doing Aga 1.
Don't think there's really much left for light world checks here and that overworld checks for him. This can't really hurt to go ahead and get yourself over into that East Dark World.
Koi, since he was the only one to do the current jump, logically that hook shot is locked behind Aga 1. That's your only way to get to East Death Mountain. Oh, Chloe Power getting dead rocked in a really bad position here. All right, so who are not familiar with Link to the Past randomizer, listen up here. From 0 to 15, how many blue balls are we going to get for those veterans? I'm going to explain the Aga 1 fight. So, how the Aga 1 fight works is that when Aga 1 fires off does their first set of attacks, the first attack that in that pattern will always be a red ball, no matter what. Shots 2 through 4, meaning 3 potential shots, will have a 50-50% chance, a 50-50 chance of being a red ball or a blue ball, which does not. The blue ball does nothing and only wastes time, as seen here. The 5th one in the pattern will be a lightning attack, and the process continues until you get 6 hits on Aga 1 with some red balls.
If my counting is correctly, I believe we're up to 2 already.
Yes, that was 2. But at the same time, that's only half of our hits left. That's 3. Only one more hit to go. Now, one thing I've learned is that you can hold the back wall Aga 1 when he's doing the lightning attack. It'll save you a bit of lag frames, but Round only getting at least 3 blue balls, and Blame will have the same pattern too, because this is the Aga 1 patterns will always be the same from amongst all the runners.
Just a little bit of the randomness taken out of it, just to ensure it's a little more fair on that point as far as race seeds go.
Koi finishing off the Armos Knights, grabbing his first crystal.
Almost have to think for Koi, his next play after this one is heading up and taking down Aga for himself as well. Oh, he had a portal by Pod. I did not see that.
Yep, Koi was intending to do the Pod Eastern. But as far as I'm aware, Pod did not have anything of use just necessarily. There was nothing as far as the play for like the hammer is concerned. So we're not really worried about it just yet. I don't know if that was. I mean, there's could be plenty of items because there's 5 in total here in Pod, if I'm not mistaken. 5 items.
5 items and a whole lot of keys, and there is the big key. Boy, and immediately heading right up to Catfish. He'll be seeing that hookshot very shortly.
And to bring up something in chat as well, grabbing the wall only does frames if you have a shield. So, because the shield itself causes lag frames. If you don't have a shield, then you don't have to worry about the lag frames. So, in that case, no one had a shield. So, when they were going to Aga 1, so there's that. Also, looks like we missed a fire rod somewhere.
Yep, that would be in the bottom of Pod.
Very nice. That was picked up from Koi. So Pod is definitely needed.
I mean, with that hook shot and that fire rod in hand, or that kind of points us towards next.
Blaine stopping and realizing that, wait, I did Aga 1. So if I were to save and quit here, I would be on the pyramid. Well, gotta remember that. Yeah, the one thing, if you're doing Aga 1, if that mirror serves, if you have a mirror, that the save and quit will only lead you up to the pyramids if you save and quit from the Dark World. Koi did not do Aga 1 because he did the current jump. So he saves potential time loss, if a small time loss at best. I think like a couple time loss just by having a save and quit in the mirror and having to mirror, which takes a while, and then having like a whole lot of time lost because of that. So Boyne playing it safe here. Boyne now heading for the East Deck Mountain, heading for Paradox Cave. On 2 chests, we have a heart container and 3 bombs. And top 5 chests are going to contain 3 bombs, a heart piece, 300 rupees, a heart container, and a heart piece. Nothing to worry here on Paradox Cave.
Meanwhile, Koi only finding that fire rod in pod right now.
I mean, yeah, it is. You need to go to pod for that, make that required because, well, yeah, because you need that for Thief's Turok. Because Skull Woods is a medallion. Only reason why you would ever want to do that is if we're getting get the sword out of the pedestal. Check out Super Bunny Cave. And there's our hammer. So yeah, that Aga 1 is definitely needed in order to continue on in terms of logic.
Why don't you go to Eastern and get that lamp, head up to Aga to get your Eastern access to get the hook shot, climb the mountain, find the hammer up in Super Bunny.
Since Blaine had followed the logic there, does mean too that since this is his first excursion up the mountain, if I'm not mistaken, and considering that he never went to pod just yet, he will be able to clear that and check the green pendant if he decides to do it. I mean, he will definitely do it, but we'll see. Blaine checking Hookshot Cave, starting up things at 20 rupees. Our cape, green rupee, and round things off, Bombos. So that is all 3 medallions accounted for. We do not have to worry about bomb medallions just yet. Also, Bombos is on Turtle Rock, so the convenience of that Bombos being in Hookshot Cave is definitely nice. Well,
not only Bombos, the hammer there as well. So you had both keys to get into Turtle Rock, hiding right outside.
Yep, Gwen taking that cape and hammer heading straight for Spike Cave makes a whole lot of sense too, because you have plenty of stuff to do, and half magic helps cut down a lot of magic cost for that too. So this will be a very easy check for Boyne. And Spike Cave is going to yield us a heart piece. And Boyne's intentionally taking advantage of the Aga 1 spawning you on top of the pyramid when you do it, and heading straight for pod.
Yeah, pod is your next location that has the most dense amount of item checks that you can knock off, and with that hammer in hand, he can full clear it if so.
And Chloe is also, I believe, setting up for the current jump. Yep, he's setting up for the current jump. It makes sense since you're gonna. I like this from Chloe because that will help a whole lot when you're because he'll get his hook shot that way. It's a little bit annoying to get it because you have to do it. You have to do not only a bomb jump to make sure you get yourself in the fake flipper state, but also you have to do it at a very specific time. At least do it. So it's tricky.
However, in this case, doing that bomb jump will reward Chloe with the hook shot, so it'll be definitely well worth.
And this also saves Chloe from having to do a trip up Aga Tower. Because if the runners if newcomer runners don't understand that you have to mirror from the light world, or from the dark world to the light world in order to save quits and get your 3 options, it does add up time. And even then it still costs a lot of time because you have to, if you're intending to save and quit from a certain location, you have to if you're in a dungeon, you have to leave the dungeon, and then mirror all the way out the entrance of that dungeon, and then save and quit. It adds up time.
Koi grabbing his cape and Bombos medallion here out of Hookshot Cave. I would imagine be heading right over to Spike Cave as well, and Rylan taking a fall from Moldorm.
So chat pointing out, there was the Sink Heart on Spiral Cave. So that eliminates Sink Heart from the potential four items in what was it, GT, Fortune and GT in the final ones.
But instead of Spike Cave, looks like Koi is opting for the Ether Tablet.
I mean, since he hasn't checked it yet, it makes sense for him to do it now. And plus, he will also do Hera later on. Right, like now, and then he'll leave Spike Cave for much later. The only reason why Blaine did it when he did it was that I believe he had already finished, and this was his second excursion up the mountain. So, but I'm making a fool of myself, and he had not done it yet.
Yeah, he already went up there for Tower
Okay,
Bear.
yeah.
As well
Just
as
checking.
Tablet.
Oh, and also finishing off Moldorm when we're speaking of Hera.
Wayne is going to give us our look here into seeing what we have on Elmasaur. Making quick work of that room.
On the way over to the Helmasaur King, intending to look at the green pendant. It makes sense.
You're in the area, and it's a quick mirror right after.
Yep, and this is very nice too because you have a whole it's very nice because you went up the mountain originally, and you're double dipping this only to see this green pendant. So yeah, this is all worth it. And down goes the Helmasaur King.
Getting pinned against the wall, but nothing that he can't handle.
And that was the blue boomerang from the Helmasaur King. And that is Wayne's green pendant.
Also, the fifth item accounted for as well.
Far as our Gomo's concerned, we're only missing the boots. We know that the flute is on Lumberjack, so we need those boots anyway. We need the flippers, Samaria, and our Ice Rod.
Unfortunately, the Ice Rod cannot be unped this time.
I mean, there's no reason why. I mean, Pedestal has already been dead, like not even like very early in the seed, because I mean, you could pull it because medallion dungeons are in good positions. Plus, you have the materials to pull the pedestal anyway. You have your fire rod, you have your hammer.
Although it being vanilla swords does kind of work out in their favor here for the run. It does kind of knock off that very trolly location where the Ice Rod could be hiding.
So that does mean, though, that the Pyramid Fairy is actually dead and not the pedestal, because these two are interchangeable in vanilla swords. Either the pedestal can be dead or the Pyramid Fairy can be dead. Because it all just depends on the medallions, the pendants, and the 5/6 layout.
It depends where you want to get your third sword if you do, but you also have to remember that Pyramid Fairy does have that second chest in there. This chat pointing out it could also have the Ice Rod.
Yeah, that would be rough. So I do imagine that the runners will have gold sword, like, because I mean, they're in it. If they decide to do Skullwoods and Pod, or Skullwoods and the Skullwoods, you're gonna probably do Pod anyway. You're gonna do green. You're gonna do Pod for the green pendant, as Blaine gonna give us that check here. And as for Samaria,
So it is required to pop.
oh, that is an excellent pickup from Blaine. Wow.
That definitely makes all that travel right through to knock out Helmasaur most worth.
Yeah, that green pendant is required. That is excellent. Wow.
So that does beg the question for that third sword. You have the fire rod and mirror in hand. Thieves Town is easily killable. Do you want to do that? Maybe pick up 3 or possibly 4 swords.
Wayne has other plans, though. He's taking out Samaria. He's gonna follow the breadcrumbs. He's going to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, we could always find our ice rod hiding in here on Laser Bridge. Save some boots, perhaps. Bottom left, Koi giving us a look over here into Desert.
And the good news for Wayne is that he knows that Bombos is required. Like, Bombos is required for to at least enter Turtle Rock. And he already picked it up on his second excursion up the mountain and his first excursion to Dark Depth Mountain. So this works out definitely in his favor here.
Of course, you see chat hoping that we have the boots hiding out over here in Turtle Rock, the ice rod, the mire area.
That would mean the double dip, and that is going to be a double dip, a pod, or Turtle Rock rather, and that would be a pain. You have
Definitely never feels good.
Whole lot of checks here in Turtle Rock that you can do. You can go all the way up until Laser Bridge, and you're pretty much set for life here. Rowland's going to go, and I believe he's heading for, I think he might be intending to finish off Skull Woods.
It's heading for the back. We have one more item hiding back here. Either it's on Bothiel or it's hiding in our chest over here.
Yeah, that's one thing too.
There's our ice rod.
You don't even need to worry about getting that. So, Rowland. So, Samaria is on the green pendant, and Ice Rod is in the back of Skull Woods. That is, whoo, oh boy.
Pendant Dungeon's paying off big. What if that last item sitting in the Thieves Town big chest just happened to be our boot?
And to refute something in chat, I don't believe it's Oopsal Dungeons. Because call back to, I believe, at least, I believe, Thieves Town. I mean, he's gonna, well, Koi has we got the bug net really early. But I believe Koi is intending to check the back of Thieves Town, because since Koi's never went there when he initially did it. Well, no, he did do it. He just left afterwards.
Yep, no hammer, took the exit out. Does have the hammer this time. He'll give us a look at that last item that we don't know what it is yet, sitting in our big chest.
Yeah, and that's interesting too, because okay, it's interesting. Blaine and Rowland have a good positioning too. And those were the boots in Total Rock. I'm not mistaken.
So the boots are sitting over there in TR.
Wow. All right then. So that does that does bring that brings everyone up to speed here. I mean, no matter what you're gonna do, you're gonna need to go to fight Aga 1 anyway, because you're gonna need those boots to open up the lumberjack tree and get yourself that flute. Koi saves time doing. I think since Blaine and Rowland already did Aga 1, or they actually saved time here going up Aga Tower. After thinking about it, the only caveat is that they lost time. They're gonna lose time. They only lost time for the hook shots.
And in the end, it's just going to come down to who goes over and checks for that ice rod first. Rowland already having it. It just depends if Rowland goes for the green pendant. And then, of course, the flippers still be our other unknown. Down on Koi's side, do we dare say the blind leading the blind?
Yeah, and only 5 rupees on the big chest, so Koi Power is breathing a sigh of relief there, because remember, he went into Turok very early in the sea, went deep into it. He was the only one who had finished Thieves Town. So, in the brain of something too, we might see Oopsal Dungeons if Ether Tablet, if the Ether is required for Mystery Mire.
The way the seed is going, I wouldn't put it past it.
Yep, Wayne heading over to Laser Bridge, only 20 rupees to start off. A single rupee, a compass, and to round things out, our small key. We're out of here.
With that, he's going to take those boots into Spiral Cave, grab that Sank card.
There's those extra blips, and signifying that was the Sank card. So at this point now,
We essentially got a mad hunt for those flippers.
Yeah, our flippers is the last remaining thing that we have to get for go mode. Because all 3 medallions are accounted for. Bonkrok's only giving us a heart piece.
Be go mode depending on who grabs it, but be no mode for us once those flippers do pop up.
Yeah, so Wayne's gonna get that flute because it was been sitting there the entire time. You had to do Aga 1 initially, so to refute I said earlier about it being a little bit too early for Aga 1. The play for Round Kira and Wayne to go and do Aga 1 when they did it, to get in logic for that, to make that hook shot and hammer in logic. They save time by not doing the current jump. And then not having to do the rest of the dungeon their way. So Blaine now is going to activate that flute.
Get your salutes up in chat because the goose is loose. Down on the bottom right, Rowland still doing the current jump to get himself back over to the east side. Wayne making his quick pop down to the 6. It's going to give us a look into the Misery Mire area. And that is Ether.
Wow. Okay, that is Oops All Dungeons.
There you have it. And there's the flippers as well.
Wow. So we're in no mode. And if I'm not mistaken, someone actually called that already. Like I called that pretty early in the chat.
Believe so. Can't remember who it was though, but we do have the Oops All Dungeons.
I feel like someone called it, and there's a shuffle too.
Unfortunately for Boyd, he's gonna pick that up and probably go and turn that in and find what we know is a whole lot of nothing.
Star Wars, I'm the one who made the Oops All Dungeons photo. You don't have to remind me of that.
Boyd using this time, however, to route in desert. He does have the boots, does have fire sources, he can full clear. Koi's back in pod, taking down the Helmasaur King.
Best thing about it is that Dwayne knows that Koi found out originally that Desert Palace was boots locked. So this ultimately saves him a lot of time. This saved a whole lot of time for him to find the boots when he did. So, which was in Turtle Rock. His early call to go into Turtle Rock paid off well, and this is a required double dip if I'm not mistaken. Or no, actually, you don't even need to make it a required double dip, because if you decide to go let's go to Skullwoods first and get the ice rod, you don't even need to make a double dip.
And one has to wonder what Koi's thinking after picking up his red cane there from Sahasrahla. Is he going to go over to Skull, or is he going to go up the mountain?
He is going up the mountain.
Well, you're taking down Mothula and Skull. Get that third pendant. We could possibly see a mirror here after checking this last chest and a pull of head for our third sword.
Chloe will be the first player to have the first player to have our tempered sword. For Chloe, this will be a standard Ganon fight. And yeah, this will be a pedestal pull from Chloe, and he will begin that tempered sword.
Tempered sword, silvers for Ganon. Can't really ask for much more.
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go.
You're already good with the Master Sword and silvers. The tempered just is the icing on top of the cake.
Yeah, there you go. There's the tempered sword for Chloe.
And of course, with us knowing where that ice rod is, that is the nail in the coffin for the Pyramid Fairy as well.
And yeah, at that point, the Pyramid Fairy is dead. Like I said, those two are interchangeable. So because at that point you clear Thieves Town because it's the dungeon you can clear pretty early. It's not a terrible dungeon to clear. Pod, you have to clear it in order to get your Samaria. And you might as well add salt to the wound. You have to do Skull Woods in order to get your ice rod, and you might as well already clear it because you know that there are vanilla swords. So you'll go and check the pedestal, or not check the pedestal, pull the pedestal, and get your temper sword.
You're already in the back there as it is when you grab that ice rod. It's just a quick trip right into the back to take down Mothula, and there, since all the runners have the mirror, they can just go ahead, go right on over and pull that head. Since the difference in damage between the Tempered Sword and the Butter Sword is very minimal, highly doubt we'll see any of our runners heading out.
I have a feeling that Chloe might be in a good position here because Boyne has not finished up. Boyne is yet to finish up Skull Woods, and he will be in go mode. He's in a good second place, I want to say.
Look like Boyne is actually going to be heading back to Thieves Town, or is this going to be a bumper check?
It's going to be a bumper cape check. But at this point, we know that there's nothing here, so. And only a heart piece. His call here is he needs to go up he needs to go into Skull Woods and potentially go to Thieves Town, because those are medallions you can do, and you can easily pull the pedestal that way and get yourself your Tempered Sword. You do not have to worry about any swords. What you don't have to worry about leaving that behind, because you're already in the vicinity of Skull Woods. You'll be getting your Ice Rod that way. Hold off on it just yet, though. Going to be checking a few more overworld checks and before committing to that, though.
However, Chloe is the only one of her runners that won't have to double dip up here in Turtle Rock.
Yes, as previously stated, that since the boots were picked up really early, the boots were picked up in Turtle Rock, and we know that Aga 1 is required, Chloe will save time in the form of having Turtle Rock finished. Ice Palace is a good mode dungeon, and so is Swamp Palace, and so is Desert Palace.
Yep, and 2 out of those, it saves you quite a bit of time throwing them in go mode.
Yeah, so Chloe has some ground. So
can't forget, though, it also looks like Chloe needs to take the trek up to Aga 1 to get that flute. Might see that now that we do have the boots, though.
Yeah, that's likely after he finishes up Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that would be where everything seems to be pointing you towards from this point.
Going to bringing out that purple chest. So I think he's going to be doing a whole lot of overworld checks. So all eyes are on Chloe Power at this point.
Just depends when we want to make that move back to Aga 1. If right after then we head straight over to Mire, or do we go down to Swamp? Okay, going to Swamp.
And our dig game only has 5 rupee, or not dig game. Our dig spot is 5 rupees, not because dig game had a lot of money.
Dig game loaded, flute spot, not so much.
Now Relon's heading their way over to the Helmus Arcade. Gonna be getting that green pendant and ultimately his Canis and Maria. And as I'm thinking about it too, actually no, you have to. And Relon is gonna be also gonna be single dipping this Turtle Rock after he gets the Canis and Maria.
Boyne actually doing our purple chest glitch there. Another more recently found glitch.
That I'm not familiar with.
In certain places you can actually leave the purple chest behind as long as you mirror close enough to the specialist It'll act as if you have the purple chest and open it right there for you, even if it isn't following.
Now I think about it, yeah, that does ring a bell.
That would make sense why, after leaving the chest behind, you still can't go into dig game.
Well,
You still think you have follower.
Went for Swamp Palace. Ron grabs his Canis and Maria. And Koi has pretty much, now that he got the boots, it's his time to say, okay, we're heading to Turtle Rock. No, we're heading to Aga 1. We got our boots. You know it's Aga 1 required. Let's get Aga 1 out of the way, and we'll save a good chunk of time, essentially. He'll be getting his flute. He will be getting his ice rod, or if he decides to go to Skull Woods. We'll get his flippers from the Maya area.
All of this just depends if Chloe actually did check Lumberjack Pledge. Been over an hour ago, so it's been a while. I can't quite remember who did. Who... Taking the safety
door here. Gotta wait on the timing of this laser, and there you go. And Chloe's gonna take a death intentionally so that way he can refill his health.
And a big question for Dwayne is whether or not we're going to see a check on the left side of Swamp, or if we're going to go straight to the back from this point. We know it doesn't have anything. We're still looking for Ether and the Ice Rod on his side.
Alright, Chloe on the Trinex fight.
And quick work of it getting the one cycle there. As well as the double sword spin and the slash thereafter. Take down Trinix in a beautifully well executed fight. Dwayne finding a pot lid and some bombs in the back of the swamp here. Ice Rod, for those that are just joining us, is actually hiding in back of Skull Woods. Three fire rod shots, one sword spin, and down.
That's Wayne's fourth crystal. And Koi has finished off Aga 1. What he has to do now is go and grab that flute. If he decides to go and do Ice Palace, do Skull Woods, or rather Skull Woods, then he will begin his Ice Rod, and sooner or later, he will be having a good time here, as he will be in go mode.
And Dwayne heading back into Swamp here to go to the left side. An almost unfortunate loss of time, since we know that there isn't going to be anything useful for him over there.
So take note of the bottom right. Rowland has the boots. He's in Turtle Rock. He's already finished off Act 1. He has the ice rod. And Chloe is not happy about the flute being on the lumberjack ledge. He's got to do Act 1.
So that answers the question whether or not Chloe looked at it. The answer is apparently no. Good news for Chloe. We'll be heading up, hitting that egg of 1, grabbing that flute. I would imagine making a beeline straight to the Misery Mire area.
Now we'll put him in go mode. Chloe grabs his flute. He will be activating it. Does he go to Skull Woods next, or does he go to Misery Mire and get that out of the way, and subsequently do the Mire Desert combo?
Yeah, there's more checks going the Mire Desert combo, as well as giving you the 2 crystals that you do end up needing. I almost think Koi goes down that way instead of dipping into Skull Woods. We might see a last location of that ice rod on his side.
Koi activating his flute.
Meanwhile, Blaine just finding the fire shield and some bombs over there on the left side of Swamp. A whole lot of nothing. It looks like this is going to be Ice Palace from Blaine, doing whatever he can to avoid the rest of those pendant dungeons.
Yeah, this hurts for Blaine because it's this is Oops All Dungeons. We have to get we need to get the materials for that in order to we go to Thieves Town for we gotta go to Thieves Town for the ether. We have to go to Skull Woods for the ice rod, and most importantly, and this is actually what he already did originally. We have to go to Pod to kill off Helmasaur, get the green pendant, and subsequently get the Candace and Maria, which all the runners have already done. All Blaine has to do is go back into Thieves Town, grab that ether, and go to Skull Woods and grab the ice rod. Him grabbing the powder here does not help. I mean, it could help.
Oh no, that's just gonna give him another check that he's gonna do to take him farther away from where the item actually could be, unless he decides to route in Skull Woods with it when he goes and turns it in.
Now, I say that it could help because he'll be able to get he'll be doing the magic back, yes, but he'll be in the area of Kakariko. He might, if I was him, I would possibly go to Village of Outcasts and clear out Thieves Town that way. And clear Thieves Town and get the ice the ether medallion, and then go up Skull Woods and get the ice rod and pull the pedestal for your tempered sword.
Yeah, and at that point you're over there, you have 2 pendants there with the mirror, you can pull and get your next sword. Hopefully that actually helps Blaine and points him in the right direction.
Yeah, that powder, the powder might be his saving grace here after he finishes up Ice Palace. Everyone else, though, it's a useless item. Because everyone's going to be go moding it anyway.
Yeah, no one else will be finding that. You won't be seeing anyone else opening that chest there in that room. Unless Koi makes the same play and goes to Ice Palace, because he too is looking for that ice rod.
Koi finishes off Aga 1. He's in good standing for. He's in good standing to get that. To get the float here and subsequently get his go mode.
That's where we're making a beeline for. Saving, quitting, going to Sanctuary, or... Ooh, accidentally chooses his house. Yikes.
A little bit of time loss there, but not some time loss there. But Chloe is in total control here, as Wayne is just refusing to do Turtle Rock, Thieves Town and Skull Woods. I'm not saying this to rag on Blaine. All these runners are really good. You should give them a follow, definitely. They're putting a good show. I just feel like this Ice Palace play feels... It just doesn't feel right. It does not make me feel good if I go to Ice Palace here.
I can just about imagine what Wayne might be feeling as soon as he comes around and finds that Bolt coin in a different location. Same with the Ice Rod.
Boyd finishing off Lamolus and getting his Desert Palace crystal. And Koi is heading for Misery Mire. Not sure why he decided to flute there, because unless he left a portal in a bad position.
I believe he left his portal behind. Meanwhile, on the top right, Chloe is releasing the goo.
Pack deck as a wreck.
The other thing Koi could be doing, taking that trip down to 6, would be setting up some spooky action. Unfortunately, can't give us the burb toss, but gives us the smash instead.
I mean, because the thing is that Koi, I saw this last night. I was watching Phantom Rio, and he was trying to do the bird toss. The bird was in the bottom. It was in the corner in a position that you cannot grab the bird. So you couldn't even do the bird toss anyway.
Gonna have to hold you there, because coming up here very shortly, right about now at 1 hour and 22 minutes, we have go mode.
Of my little thought anyway. So Chloe Power is in the driver's seat here. He's the first runner in go mode, and this is looking excellent for Chloe, because he held off of Aga 1 for the longest period of time. And yes, he got frustrated about that flute on the lumberjack ledge, but it didn't really matter a whole lot. By the way, Rowland is also in go mode,
picking up his flippers as well. Wayne taking down Cold Stare. Yet another crystal to add to the total.
Now does Wayne go to the eastern, go to Kakariko? He's going to Kakariko.
Yep, this definitely could be good. We're going to be seeing a turn-in of the powder here. Hopefully this points him back to the other 2 pendant dungeons that we know we need to at least dip towards the back end.
And potentially clear if he decides to to pull the pedestal, which he might do, because there is progression in those 2 medallions, or those 2 pendants, so you might as well pull the pedestal here. Only 3 bums from the magic bed. Now, does he decide? He's got the flute. This concerns me. Does he decide to leave, or does he continue forward? He's continuing forward. He's going to the Village of Outcasts.
This definitely can work in his favor. He'll probably find those silvers head sprint to Skullwoods, and then grab that ice rod in the back. Then I'll also let him know that he didn't need to make that double dip up to Turtle Rock.
This will put him back on the right pace.
Now, if you're After bringing the situation, you've got to be thinking, I got to be clear both of these pendant dungeons right now. I'll pull the pedestal while I'm over here.
Oh my, actually, I'm noticing something here. We and Rallin are at this, roughly the same thing. We have a race.
Yep,
Chloe
Meyer and
heading
Ice
for
Palace.
Misery Meyer.
Wade making his way up into the top here of Thieves Town. Should be picking up that Ether Medallion very shortly.
Now, question is, after they do Mystery Meyer, will we see Divergence? Will we see Chloe potentially go Swamp and Rowland to Ice? Or the other way around? Or potentially we might see both runners in Ice or both runners in Swamp. I highly think they might just end up going to do Swamp first. And I say that because it's an easy dungeon to finish. Ice Palace takes a while to at least finish. It takes a while to finish. I think it's a little bit slower than Swamp Palace.
All in all, both those dungeons will come down to where they find the big key at.
That is true.
And I also can't forget the fact that Chloe did pull the pedestal, does have the Tempered Sword, and Rowland is only rolling with the Master Sword at this point.
Yeah, this will decide the fate of the seed, because he's got Tempered Sword advantage. He's got sword advantage here. Rowland did not pull the pedestal. Now, if Rowland decides if Rowland decides to do, let's just go to the Pyramid Fairy, he will be on even footing. However, if Chloe decides to go and spend a bit of time and go get that gold sword, which I don't think he might, I don't think he will, he will have a very slight advantage, because Tempered Sword does roughly this. Gold Sword does roughly the same sword damage. It only makes the first two phases of the Ganon fight marginally faster. By the way, Koi finished up Misery Meyer, and he's opting for the Pyramid Fairy for his Tempered Sword. Oh, that was close for Blaine. He almost saved and quit out of the dungeon.
Must have had a last second thought that here, may as well grab this pendant. Let's just go ahead and clear out Skullwood. Ooh, we're mirroring.
He's got the ether, so he's good to go. But he's fluting away.
He's banking that ice rod's hiding in the Myers area.
This hurts for this. It's gotta hurt for Blaine.
That's rough. At least the good news is the big key is in its vanilla location here in Myers. So everyone is going to have to be taking a long trip to the left there.
Yeah, they're gonna spend at least 17 seconds or more in order to finish off. And at this point, Blaine, this is rough.
And to make matters worse, opts to not give us the bird toss.
Really too torn on the bird toss. It's a big meme, but
to be fair, probably has to feel a little bit behind at this point.
yeah, he's behind significantly. He feels like he's behind, so he's not up for shenanigans like doing a bird toss. He's desperate to find the ice rod, which we know is in Skull Woods, which we know. That's the big thing we know. Blaine does not know that.
Alan making his way up there, taking the silvers to a date with Vitreous. Lincoln, he'll miss it. One shot with each of those silver arrows. Take out each small eyes.
Chloe on the Vitreous fight, gonna play a game of Space Invaders. No. He's gonna just play it. Not gonna play by the rules, and the cape instead. But Rowan is gonna play a game of Space Invaders. Did Rowan unlock the camera in Meyer?
Not entirely sure.
I think he unlocked the camera in Meyer.
However, a little bit of sync there. Getting both Rowland and Chloe getting our Misery Mire Crystal at the same exact time. Now we're heading down to Ice Palace and Swamp.
Okay, now so will we see Rowland go Swamp or Ice? He's opting to go Swamp. What about Chloe? Going for Ice. Rowland might have a bit of an advantage here. I don't know, because we know that Swamp is a dungeon that does not require the big key to get to the back in order to fight the boss. Or no, wait, he's gonna spend time here. He's spending time to get that tempered sword. All right.
Heading up to Pyramid Ferry, where we do know is our last vanilla sword location. Get you that better feeling Tempered Sword Silver's Ganon fight versus the Master Sword, which you can only damage Ganon by. We're going to get a little bit more map knowledge as well from Rowland, opting to mirror, take a couple less screen transitions, and use the Aga portal to get closer to Pyramid Ferry.
Yeah, he's using the castle portal so that way, we know it's an Naga Seed. Using the mirror here and going to the castle will save a bit of time going to do this Pyramid Ferry check. Which we know that this is our first sword. This is our gold sword here for Chloe. And only 10 arrows in the second chest. Green potion given out by the Pyramid Fairy. Brown is going to Swamp. Here's something that I said according to chat. It doesn't really matter what we do, what they do in terms of dungeons. In terms of the dungeons, we just need to find that key.
It's come straight down to execution here at this point between our runners.
Yep. All about the execution. Boyne on the Vitreous fight. I'm going to be using Master Sword spins here. Going to take some damage on this slime acid thing. And that's Boyne taking out Vitreous. And Koi is also going to be grabbing his Tempered Sword. Chloe is currently on their way over to Cold Stare. Round has entered Swamp Palace. Chloe using the bombers to get rid of the shell. He's fluting. He's going for the Pyramid Fairy. Gonna get his Tempered Sword.
Meanwhile, those Cold Stare Puffs getting away from Chloe here a little bit. You have to be careful, down to 2.5 hearts.
Yeah, this is gonna come close. Oh, down 2 hearts. Down he goes.
Sneaks it out.
That's Chloe's 6th crystal.
Heading over for a very quick Swamp Palace. See over on Rallen's side, only need to grab the one small key and then we can hookshot our way right to the back.
And this is, so Chloe has the lead here because, remember, because Rallen spent time doing the Pyramid Fairy to get the, his Tempered Sword. Chloe opted to pull the pedestal because, it ultimately saved some time here because Thieves Town had the Ether Medallion, and also this, and since it's a dungeon he wanted to clear, and I know there was some dependents are close to each other, you might as well just pull the pedestal, and that pod was a very accessible location and had very much and required for that Canis Maria.
Yeah, pod with a required item. The item required in the back of Skullwoods. You're back there, you may as well knock down Mothula. Thieves Town essentially in the back having a required. You're that far in the dungeon, you may as well take them out anyways and get your third sword that way.
Koi heading for Zora. I mean, it's not the worst thing you can do.
Also opting to leave that third bottle just kind of sitting there in the water.
Rallen on the Argus fights, and Chloe is going to join up Rallen really soon, as Rallen has to finish up Ice Palace here.
Very quick Ice Palace, however. Nail your bomb jump, drop the Canis Maria so you can move on in. Just depends on whether or not we can get those Cold Stare Puffs to cooperate.
And that is Argus down for Rallen. That will be his 6th crystal.
Oh, unfortunately, still looking for that Ice Rod, not getting to do a go mode. We'll get that powder. Hopefully that throws him over in the correct direction as well.
Yeah, Wayne on the Mothula fights. He will be grabbing that Ice Rod because he's in the vicinity. Hopefully.
At this point, you now know that there could be an item there in the front. He grabbed his silvers out of the front of Skullwoods as well. I believe that might be all Boyan has left for checks.
And yeah, there we go. You're gonna get the Ice Rod.
Now, if you're Boyan at this point too, do you bother even grabbing the Butter Sword?
So at 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 41 seconds, Boyan's now in go mode. And he's gonna be grabbing the gold sword.
May as well get some payoff for spending all that time knocking out those pendant bosses.
There comes.
Oh, he's just teasing us!
He's leaving it, you!
Dirty!
How dare you!
Boyan making the trek back up the mountain before any of the other runners might not be in too bad of a position here, however. Go right straight to the back, knockout Trinex is right there for Ganon's Tower.
But Chloe has the 7 crystal, guys. Inside Ganon's Tower, there are 22 locations where that big key could be. From 1 to 22, get your guesses in chat where that big key might be. He is gonna come close. But Rallen having a hard time on this Ice Palace bomb jump. He gets it, though.
A little bit off there on the y-axis on the first one, gets it on the second one. So Boyan hops back into Turtle Rock to take down Trinex, clearly making his way up. I'm looking at 14 for the big key. That's usually my go-to number for almost anything. What are you looking at here?
Ugh. Have mercy on these runners. Please make it 3.
With 3, of course, being the torch, right?
Yeah. If you're going to go from right, then left.
So Boyan throwing his hat into the ring here as well. Had a little bit of a hiccup at making his way into the back. As soon as he gets done with Trinex, he'll be right there on top of Turtle Rock, making his way into Ganon's top.
Alright, guys. Chloe is about to open up GT.
Get those last guesses in chat, because as soon as we do enter the tower, we'll officially end the unofficial guessing game.
Rowan has finished off Ice Palace. He will be climbing Ganon's tower. But also, at the same time, Boyan is in a good position to potentially steal the lead here because of his play to leave Turtle Rock behind when he did it.
All just comes down to routing and execution.
Number 1 and 2 is a heart piece and a key. Going to go to the right, going to go full right here. Will this pay off? Hoping that the big key will be there. Wayne on the Trinex fight.
Going for the quick kill strats out the back of Trinex here.
It's 1 cycle here. Number 3 is 20 rupees. Number 4, 20 rupees. Number 5, Arcana Burna. Number 6, a fairy and a ball. That's all 4 balls accounted for. We're going to the right. We're going to the left side. All right, number 7, the torch, a heart piece. Number 8, coming up now is number 8. Boyan has got his 7th crystal, going to be going to Ganon's tower. Rowan overtakes Boyan here. He's on his way to Ganon's tower. They're going to be neck and neck to each other. These runners are going ham right now. Koi has finished up Ice Palace. Number 7 and number 8 rather is key. 50. Number 9 is some rupees. Number 20 I think is the most rupees. And then number 10 is 10 arrows. Number 11.
Ooh, the red stealth was not playing nice there to Chloe. Knocked them off.
Let's go a couple ways back. Number 12 coming up here. Just 300 rupees. Boyan opting to go to the left side first.
Could definitely work his advantage. Meanwhile, Rowland's going to the right side.
Number 13. Oh wait, he's going to go to the right side. Or number 13, 5 rupees.
That is unfortunate for Boyan.
Ooh, this is gonna be rough. This is gonna be interesting for him. Still has full control. Has control of the late still. room number 14, 15, 16, and 17. Number 14, the compass. Number 15, 50 rupees. Number 16, bombs. Number 17, a map.
Ooh, we're down to Ice Armos or Tile Room. None of our runners who went right making the gamble for Tile Room either.
All right, the Bob chest. Hi, Bob. And there's our shield, number 18. Coming up at Ice Armos. A little bit of trouble with this.
And down on the bottom left, good news for Koi. He is about to grab that ice rod.
Number 19, 50 rupees. Number 20, the big key. Number 21 was just 20 rupees. He is full on go.
And looks like GFE is our lucky winner, guessing 20 for the big key.
Our good friend GFE. So Chloe has full control right now. Rowland is a little bit behind him. He will have to have a really rough gauntlet or a potential Ganon fall for him to be knocked off of his place.
You know, as Boyne makes his way over to Rando Room, giving us the bomb drops.
Koi on his way over to Turtle Rock. Just like fall down here so that we can get some iframes to dash all the way through this cannonball room. And Chloe has entered the gauntlet at 147.31.
Rowland making his way down into Ice Armos, Wayne hot on their heels.
Good RNG on these red Bohawk people. I forget their names.
I just go with Horse Knight.
Rowan grabs his big key. Wayne on the Ice Armos fight. Chloe on the Lambo 2 fight. Did not get the 3 in one go, but finishes off on the second phase, second cycle up here.
Wayne grabbing that key and opting just to go out right away, not looking for anything else, knows where the fourth sword is, isn't going to even bother to open that last chest. It's going to come down to pure execution here between Boyne and Rowland.
Wayne and Rowland are neck and neck now as Rowland enters the gauntlet. Shortly following.
Wayne and Rowland now in the same room.
Does not need to check the last 4 chests. He might, if he has a heart remaining, a heart piece remaining, as he's going on away over there, he might grab the Moldorm treasure, so that way he has a full heart refill going into the Aga 2 fight, and ultimately Ganon.
Don't look now, but Boyne has overtaken Rowland.
Even this was a better attempt here. Chloe leaving the Moldorm treasure. He does not need to worry about that now. As I mentioned previously, we do not need to worry about those last 4 chests after those silver arrows were picked up very, very early in the game. And Chloe is on the Aga 2 fight.
A little quick geometry test here before we go off and face Ganon. Not getting anything on the first hits there.
Yeah, this Aga 2 is not playing nice. And down goes Aga 2 for Chloe. All he has to do now is fight the big pig, and he will be our winner for tonight's restream. Chloe has finished off Trinax at the same time, and he will be going against Tower. Blaine spending a little bit of time here just to get refilled. That's alright though, he's still ahead of Rowland. Chloe drops down to the Ganon fight. I got all bacon and all. And Roman, I guess. I don't know what that really is all about. Blaine leaving the Moldorm treasure behind. Rowland is right behind him. So Chloe having that rough Aga 2 could potentially leave leave this fight in jeopardy. Leave his lead in jeopardy because Blaine is on the Aga 2 fight. He's got some good positioning here on his first phase. And it's 2 already.
Meanwhile, if you blink, you missed it. Rowland in the bottom right actually did fake powder to get some heart refills here up at the top of Ganon's tower.
And Rowland leaves the Moldorm treasure behind as well. Blaine having a better Aga 2 than Chloe, but Chloe's on phase 4. Oh no, Silver, my one true weakness. He's pretty close to dying here, but he's got the torch glitch. That's 2. That's a triple.
Triple.
And that was so close. Ooh. That's Ganon down. Get your GGs in chat for Chloe. And all he has to do now is cross that 1x3 bridge, and he will be finishing off this seed. And he has done it. Chloe Prower has finished in first place on the restream with an official SRL time of 1:53.19 and is good enough for second place overall. And in first place, we had Bonta with a time of 1:47.20. Wayne on the third phase of the Ganon fight. Rowland drops down to the Ganon fight.
Barring any falls here, we should see Blaine finishing it very shortly.
Both Blaine and Rowland on their respective Ganon fights. Got it. Blaine got his torch glitch. And down goes Ganon for Blaine. Get your GGs in chat for him.
Hot and fast finishes here as they're coming in. Blaine's got a 1x3 bridge separating him from finishing this seed out. Across the bridge, finishing second on a restream, official SRL time of 1 hour 54 minutes and 31 seconds. That is good for 5th place over. Had Cassidy Moen finishing in the third with 1 hour 53 minutes and 52 seconds, and Ravis finishing in 4th with 1 hour 54 and 27.
Rowland is on his phase 4 right now. He will be finishing up soon. There's 1. there's our double, and that's actually that's it. Get your GCs to chat for Rowland.
Rowland finishing as well.
And he will be finishing third place on the restream with an official SRL time of 1:55.24, and it is good for 6th place overall.
GG's to Rowland. And while we weren't looking, we had Chloe Prower drop in here on us. GG's. Boyan also joining us here as well.
Hey,
GG's to you.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
GG's.
GG's.
We're finishing like 20 minutes behind first place.
That was a very fun seed, surprisingly.
Because if you just
So,
do the back of
I
scores
never
earlier,
checked Lumberjack,
not only do you
and
not
I
double
decided
jump to a
that
rock
doing the
because it
bomb
goes, like,
jump
3
across the
minutes at
river
least.
was
So
the
you
correct
also
play.
Go mode swamp, you go mode ice, you go mode mire, you go
Yeah,
mode
that's actually specifically why I checked Lumberjack when I was going up the mountain. Because I said, if if it's maybe AGA required, I can just do AGA and get access to East Dark World instead of not doing AGA and going up there beforehand. But it didn't help me since I just never found Ether or Ice Rod forever. So
I think
In the
it's
end, it
the
didn't
reason
matter.
I won, because I did everything else before AGA without checking Lumberjack, and I ended up not checking Lumberjack until after I finished Turtle Rock. I already had Ice Rod, I had Tempered because I pulled Pedestal.
yeah, to have everything just so early in Dark World, and there was a really cool chain of items that I was following forever too. It felt like the seed turned really linear as soon as you saw, okay, Fluid is up on AGA, so let's go do AGA, then let's go do Pod, or well, I guess it was Hookshot on Catfish, which leads to the Hammer, then you go to Pod, and you get a bunch of stuff in Pod. So it was, kind of expecting, oh, Ice Rod's going to be in Turtle Rock, and then I'm going to find Ether somewhere else, or I probably have access to Misery Mire already, and that'll be Go Mode. So it felt like at the 50-minute mark that Go Mode was going to be any second now, but it was almost an hour later, sadly.
Yeah,
But
I
I enjoyed this seed. This was a fun seed. You can't skip early pendant dungeons all the time, and this is a great example why it doesn't always work out.
Yeah, this is a oops all dungeons.
Definitely, yeah. It I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that. Oh,
Oops, but not quite oops.
Well, you could have noped out of Thieves Town, and I guess you couldn't have not killed Moth. But you still had to go to the back of Skull Woods. And you still had to dive hard into Thieves Town.
Go all the way
And of
in
course-
and take down Helmasaur as well for that green pendant for a red
Right,
cave.
and of course you have to do Helmasaur, because of course Helmasaur. It was Pendant Pod. There's always something in Pendant Pod.
yep, and that happened to be that Fire Rod and Can Samaria on the green pendant.
I just like that I was frantically searching up a guide on how to do the river bomb jump while I was walking to it.
And it's helped out because you saved time for getting the hook shots. But Boyne and Rowland had already done Aga 1 by that point, because it actually saved them a bit of time in the long term. But
I feel like my biggest mistake of not checking Lumberjack was also just like my greatest blessing. Because I did find Ice Rod and I did get Samaria before doing anything else.
For me, it was something else. It was I skipped Catfish
Oof.
because I did an early Lumberjack check, so I knew the flute from the start. So of course, after I got the mids, I was very inclined to go early into Dark World to see, do I need that flute or can it be skipped? And then, yeah, I went for the early Master Sword for an early Aga and hoped to find the boots in pot. to really capitalize on that, but yeah, I left behind Catfish because of that. So yeah,
His boots being buried in Crystal Road there in Turtle Rock, so definitely not really helping that out in any means.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a. I was not expecting boots up in Turtle Rock, to be honest. I was expecting anything else in Turtle Rock at that point.
The boots actually being up there led most of our other runners to do a double dip because no one else had Ice Rod on that first trip.
Yeah, that was my blessing. I never had the hook shot, so I never got the hammer before I got to a port. So I had the fire rod to do Skull Woods before I go back to Catfish. So I had the ice rod, of course, before I got the hook shot. So at least I could single the TR.
Yeah, I got the fire rod at the same time as I got Samaria, and I decided on Skull Woods too. I think because I pulled Pet. Yeah, because I'm like, I'll take the third sword. Because I'll take the third sword before I go up there.
Yeah, that ped pull ultimately saved time for Chloe in the long term.
I mean, it was convenient. I had 2 done, and then Skullwoods was the third.
Yeah, because the medallions, the pendants were laid out in a good position between the two. Because Skullwoods and Thieves Town, those 2 pendants are close to each other, and with vanilla swords, you could just easily pull the pedestal and get yourself your tempered sword.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't have the green pendant at that time when I got the ice rod, so I wanted maybe to pull the pedestal, but I never had really a good opportunity to, because I would then have to go back after killing Helma to just pull the Master Sword, and then by the time I could also just do Red Bomb.
But I hate to interrupt, but Koi has taken down Ganon. Get your GGs in chat for him. He will be crossing that 1x3 bridge soon.
This was a tough seed to subdue. Like, out of all the runners, like, only 8th and above subdued it.
Yep, and he has finished 4th on the restream with the official Astral time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 21 seconds. That's good for 10th place overall. Going in descending order, we have Matt 7898 in 9th place with a time of 2 hours, 1 minute, and 38 seconds. My good friend Mr. Scrub Ninja Tuna in 8th place with a time of 1:58:34, and Guitar Grill TS9 in 7th place with a time of 1:57:25. And I think I heard Koi enter this call right now.
Oh no, keep reading off every single finisher. That's cool.
That's all, dude. That's all.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
This seed was not fun.
Hi,
Yeah.
Koi.
It was fun.
No. It was not fun.
And judging by Koi not finishing Skullwoods, I think that was probably the Ice Rod then.
Yeah, I did the front of Skullwood step on my way over to Pot. So I find Silver's there, but I don't have the Fire Rod yet. And then why the hell would I ever go back, right? For one item in a pendant dungeon. Like, pedestal can't even be anything because it's vanilla swords. Why would I ever, ever, ever go back? So not getting the Ice Rod means that I double dip Turtle Rock, I double dip Skullwoods, I double dip Desert, I have to full clear Swamp, have to full clear Ice, have to full clear Desert, have to full clear Mire, all of which would have been go moded if I had just had the Ice Rod. Like, easily 20 minutes from not picking up this one item.
Definitely a dirty seed with the way it had laid out everything. We had the Ice Rod back there. We also had Ether up in the top of Thieves Town. Not to mention the red cane on our green pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, those aren't a big deal though, right? Because like those are more dense item locations and they lock more things. So like you're gonna go there and you're gonna get those things. But the Ice Rod it's up in the air. You either do it or you don't.
Yeah, all roads kind of led to Pod anyways at that point. It was like the left side of Dark World didn't have anything immediately accessible. Like doing the whole route from Skullwoods all the way down to Pipe Cave just didn't pay out with almost anything.
Yeah, the only thing then that was there was the Master Sword.
Right, there's the Master Sword from doing the Smith. But
That's basically it.
like you got ether if you full cleared Thieves Town at the time, or well, cleared Thieves Town, and
Don't even get punished by the hammer.
yeah, the hammer didn't even matter until you hit the wall. Like, oh, I can't get the right side Dark World, and then you're like, well, I don't know if you checked the flute early, Koi, but I didn't check until like after I had the boots.
Yeah, I knew about the flute the whole game.
Everyone knew about the flute. It's like such a best kept secret.
It didn't make a difference though knowing about it. It's just when I get the boots in Turtle Rock, like like if flute was my go mode, it would have mattered, right? But it didn't. It wasn't.
See, Flippers was my go mode, so flute directly to him at that point because I'd spent so long not checking Lumberjack. Like I even did the bomb skip to get to right side Dark World instead of
So you
killing
did-
Aga.
Did you do Skullwoods before going up to TR without the Astra?
I did. Let's see. I did Hookshot. I got Hookshot. Immediately went to right side Death Mountain because that was 14 checks. And
Well, you did Hookshot before Pod?
I didn't go to Pod yet because I didn't have the hammer.
Well, the
I mean-
catfish is locked by the hammer too.
I know, but I bomb jumped over the river. Did the fake
Right, but
bomb jump.
you got the hookshot from Catfish out of logic, and then said, "I'm not going to Pod."
No, I didn't get it out of logic because I knew Aga was doable.
Oh, you had
I
already
figured-
done Eastern. Okay.
I had already done Eastern. There was a Pod. I figured Death Mountain was a better play than going to Pod at that time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. See, I didn't do Eastern yet. Because I did. We got Dark World access in Kakariko, and I said, "Well, that's sucks," So I went to South Shore instead, and I found the mirror, and I'm like, "Ooh, I can do Eastern and Pod at the same time." So I did the route south to Hype Cave, and then saved and quit back to Sanctuary, and did the current jump over to Catfish. But I was already locked into doing Eastern and Pod because I knew there was something in Eastern, right? There had to be something giving me access to this hookshot.
Which was just the lamp.
Yeah, I figured it was likely the lamp, but it might have been something else.
You're right.
Like
It could,
some flippers
it
would
could've-
be huge.
or the hammer.
Yeah,
Hammer.
definitely. So when
Okay.
I finish Eastern and I finally have the hookshot in Logic, like I'm standing outside Pod, so yeah, I do Pod then.
Yeah, I did Eastern early, so I knew Aga was in logic, but I hadn't checked Lumberjacks, so I did the current jump too. So I'm just like, I don't need to do Aga, I'll just save time by jumping, and I got rewarded with the hookshot, and I'm like, alright, let's go with that.
To cut things short, but we need to wrap things up here. So, any final thoughts on the seed?
It sucks.
I still don't like vanilla swords, but
Oh yeah, Vanilla
Yeah,
Swords.
Vanilla
is awful.
Swords is. I don't think it's the best. Personally, I don't think it's the best one.
It's quite terrible.
it's just putting 3 swords in pretty awful locations.
I
No,
like
I
it.
mean like 3 swords. If you put it in standard, then 3 swords. But if it's like open, then it's like all 4 swords, like terrible locations.
I wouldn't consider Uncle terrible.
I mean, yeah, I mean it's still early in the game, but who's to say? Anyway, yeah, okay. So get your GGs in chat for all 4 runners: Chloe, Blaine, Koi, and Rollins Tankir. That's good. Just doing it for all of us. So yeah, be sure to get a follow, and be sure to follow our crew, Lumaga and Ricky of Kokiri. They did an excellent job, and of course, be sure to follow your commentators for the last 2 hours. Myself, Professor Render, and my good friend Spyweaver. So until then, Spy, if you have any final thoughts on this?
Nothing other than don't forget about your pendant dungeons. Those paying off big and early here in this seed.
Yeah, pendant dungeons are the big name here. They might have something, they might not. Until then, I'm Professor Render, and that was Spyweaver, signing out. See you guys.